If you believe you can and you are ready to open your business, then I believe in you. It's time to make monies from your abilities. Barbers, plumbers, hairdressers, landscapers, whosoever you are. In this video, I am going to be looking at 3 distinctions between trading as a sole proprietor versus a limited liability companies. Stay tuned. Why register my business? That's a great question. Permit me to answer. You see, whether you register as a sole proprietor or as a limited liability company, LLC, either of the registration will give you legal recognition. I'll explain that as I go through this video, so stay tuned. Now, let's just get into the whole process of actually registering your business. If you do a sole proprietor registration, the first step that you must do is a name search or name approval to ensure that there's no other business that's trading with that particular name. And you would understand why. That's to ensure that you have no issues with branding when it comes to taxes and other requirements that the law would be placing upon you as a business owner. Now, when you do the registration, the name approval, and it's approved, you then have to register that business as your business. Once you register that, you are then able to trade under that name and do business in that particular capacity. The fees are less, the registration process is a less complicated one, as well as the time frame is also less. Unlike the LLC, the Limited Liability Company, the first step as the sole proprietor is the same as the process for the LLC. You need to do a name reservation or name approval. Once that is completed and the name is approved, you then have to do what is called filing the Articles of Incorporation. That would then, it's a form and it's going to give all the details that would need to be included in it in terms of how shares are to be distributed and other factors. Once that is completed, you also have to file the notice of directors, the notice of secretary. You also have to look at the notice of the registered address for the business or the company limited. Once all those forms are completed and submitted, then you now have legal recognition as a limited liability company. The fees are a little more when it comes to registering as a limited liability company, as well as the process is a little more complicated and there's a little more time when it comes to actually registering as an LLC. When you register as either though, you get legal recognition. But I want you to make this distinction. When you register as a sole proprietor, imagine it as being a document which is a deed poll. A deed poll is where you actually change your name. So as a sole proprietor, you're getting a deed poll which changes your name into a next name, but you're trading as yourself. I'll explain that in my next part. Unlike when you register as a limited liability company, you are actually creating a new person. So your business document would now be considered we could say a birth certificate for a business. So deed poll versus birth certificate. I'll explain that further as I go along. Now this can actually be done by yourself, or you could get the assistance of an accountant, or even you could look for an attorney to assist with the process. As an attorney, it's a joy whenever I have to assist clients in these matters, and then they come 2 months, 5 months, a year after, and they speak about how the business is progressing and how they're able to generate monies from it. It's a great joy. So even if you can't do it for yourself, look for an accountant, look for an attorney, whether in your area or not, and they'll be able to assist you through the process. For you, it's just about you starting your business. Let's move on to my next part. So, flowing from my first point, let's just make a distinction when it comes to the identity and structure of a limited liability company, the LLC, versus the sole proprietor. Now, there's a famous case called Solomon against Solomon Company Limited. In that case, the court said, whenever you're creating a company, you're actually creating a separate legal entity. Yeah, so it means that you're actually giving birth to someone or something. Which means that you then have to treat that legal entity as a separate person. You then have to get its own tax number for tax purposes. You have to have a separate bank account for banking purposes as well. It means that you are now also considered an employee of the company limited. All in all, when you actually register your business as a company limited, there's a sense of credibility and reputation that's also attached to it. Which also applies if you register as a sole proprietor. There's a little more respectable and there's credibility as well if you register as a sole proprietor. Let me go further and say that when you register as a sole proprietor though, you are actually sort of cloning yourself. So you aren't a separate legal entity from your business. You actually are the sole owner. Even if you have employees, your business is centered around you. And there's no legal separation, there's no need for you to have a separate tax number. The number is the same as your personal tax number, as well as there's no need for you to have a separate business account. But normally for accounting purposes and so, it's advisable that you do salary yourself and you're able to keep that distinction in case you want to eventually convert into a company, limited liability company. Now I don't want you guys to be going by the register if it is that you guys are doing this by yourself and say that you want to go and obtain your birth certificate for your company or a deed poll, as I explained in my first part. It's just an analogy, somebody, it's like, okay? So don't do that, and then just say that you learn from the legal training. So guys, let's move on to my last point as we speak about the distinction between sole proprietor and company, limited liability company. If you've reached this far in the video, that means a lot to me, and if you could see it, my heart is beating out of appreciation. If you haven't, make sure that you subscribe, let that support, as well as just give me a thumbs up, let me know that you're getting value from this video. Let's get on to my last point. You guys, when it comes to the operation of the idle businesses that you're going to register as, one needs to look at the operations. Now, if you register as a sole proprietor, you would be accountable for the losses and for any liability or profits that the business makes, because you're registering as yourself. So all incomes become your income. All losses and debts, you then become liable as well. Now if you're operating a high-risk business, for example, let's say that you're a construction worker or you're probably dealing with cutting lawn, landscaping and so, depending on the risk that is involved in that particular business, you may want to consider if you want to take that particular risk, because if it is that somebody has to sue you, they are going to be suing you within your personal capacity. So they could take your clothes, your house, your car, everything. If it is that somebody's house is not built properly, or if it is that somebody's property is damaged when you're doing your landscaping, they could sue you personally. So you need to determine whether or not as a sole trader it is appropriate for you, or you register as a limited liability company. Why? Because they are separate legal entities. So when you register as a company, the company now becomes accountable for the profits and for the losses as a company. So for example, let's go down to the same construction company. If you're a construction company and you build somebody's house and the house isn't done properly, then they go by a lawyer and they want to sue for negligence, then the monies that you're going to be paying out would be monies and profits that actually came from the company and not from your private pocket. So that's a distinction that you really need to be mindful of. When it comes to you being paid as well as a company limited, you are going to be as an employee, so you can't be intermingling and using funds from the company and saying that it's yours. So it keeps you a little more accountable. And so those are the major distinctions when it comes to the operation element as a sole proprietor versus company limited. You now really have to determine which is most suitable for you. Either you seek your independent legal advice, or you speak to an accountant, you do further research and determine where are you in your journey in becoming a business person. Is it that you're now starting? Is it that you've already started and you now want to formalize your business? For me, I just want to encourage you to get rid of all of your fears and stop limiting yourself, saying that you can't because you didn't go to school or because you don't have any capabilities, or you're around the wrong company or where you're from, and so stop it and think about how it is that you are now able to generate monies based on your abilities. And I believe that you can. I believe that you can. So pull yourself together and think about how you're going to do that. As I end this video, I just want to thank all of you for looking at this until the end. I also want to pay some special attention to some persons. I want to say hello, or big up as is normally said, to Adele. There's Williams who also look at my videos. Kelly, continue to support. I really appreciate that. You guys, there's Mary from the US as well. Thank you guys so much for your support. Share this video if you think that it's going to be useful to somebody, and give me a like. I'm close to a particular number of subscribers. I'm going to reach there, you guys. There's a surprise. So thank you so much. That's a lot of noise. Thank you so much. I hope this video was of some value to you, and I will see you in my next video. If you wish, I did some legal memes, some review of some legal memes. Have a laugh, live life. Life is to be lived to the fullest. You guys take care. I will see you in my next video.